Gaze upon the mighty Nile, not as it flows through the familiar sands of Giza, but here, deep in the heart of modern-day Sudan. This was the land of Nubia, the cradle of a civilization so powerful, so rich, and so ambitious that it would give rise to a dynasty of kings known to history as the Black Pharaohs. For a brilliant moment in time, these rulers from the south would conquer and unite the entire Nile Valley, claiming the double crown of Egypt itself. This is the story of the Kingdom of Kush, the empire that Egypt forgot, and the pharaohs who came from the south to save it. Long before they wore the crown of the pharaohs, the Kushites were a formidable power. Their kingdom was built on gold. Vast, rich mines glittered under the Nubian sun, filling the royal treasuries and making Kushite a crucial hub of commerce. Their caravans commanded the trade routes that snaked across Africa, bringing ivory, ebony, and exotic animals north to Egypt and beyond. For centuries, Kush and Egypt shared a complex relationship of trade, rivalry, and cultural exchange. But as Egypt's magnificent new kingdom began to fade, weakened by internal strife and foreign invasions, a power vacuum emerged. In the south, Kush was watching, its military might growing, its archers renowned for their deadly skill, and its ambition boundless. The stage was set for a dramatic shift in power, one that would see the student become the master. The year is around 730 BC Egypt, once the master of the known world, is fractured and in chaos, ruled by petty kings and rival warlords. From the south, a new force emerges, driven by a divine mission. King Pi, the formidable ruler of Kush, sees himself not as a foreign invader, but as the true heir to the pharaonic tradition and the chosen one of the god Amen. He believed it was his destiny to restore order and piety to the sacred land of Egypt. Leading his powerful army, Pi marches north along the Nile. His campaign is swift and decisive. City after city falls before his forces. He documents his conquest on a monumental stone slab, the Victory Stele, describing how he subdued the northern rulers and reunited the two lands under his sole authority. With his victory, Pi doesn't just conquer Egypt. He inaugurates a new dynasty, the 25th dynasty, and for the first time in history, a line of Nubian kings, the Black Pharaohs, sits on the throne of Egypt, ruling an empire that stretches from the Mediterranean coast all the way to the heart of Africa. Under the rule of the 25th dynasty, Egypt experienced a remarkable cultural renaissance. Far from being foreign overlords, the Kushite pharaohs saw themselves as restorers of ancient Egyptian traditions. They poured their immense wealth into a massive building program, reviving art and architecture in a style that deliberately harkened back to the Old and Middle Kingdoms. They revered the old gods, especially Amen, whose cult center at Karnak they lavished with attention. But their most sacred site was back home, at the holy mountain of Jebel Barkal in Nubia, which they believed to be the original birthplace of Ammon. Here, they constructed magnificent temples to rival those at Thebes, and perhaps most astonishingly, the Kushite kings revived the tradition that had been abandoned by the Egyptians for nearly 1,000 years, the building of pyramids. At their royal necropolis in Nuri, they erected steep-sided pyramids to serve as their eternal resting places, a powerful statement of their connection to Egypt's glorious past and their own unique identity. This wasn't just a conquest, it was a revival, a golden age, where Egyptian culture was reinvigorated by the passion and piety of its southern rulers. But the winds of change were blowing from the east. A new, terrifying power had risen in Mesopotamia. The Assyrian Empire, forged in brutal warfare and armed with a revolutionary technology and weapons. Assyrians were a military machine unlike any the world had seen. Their ambition knew no bounds, and their eyes were set on the riches of Egypt. The Kushite pharaohs, ruling their vast Nile empire, soon found themselves on a collision course with this new superpower. The first clashes were brutal. Bronze weapons, the standard of the Egyptian and Kushite armies, were no match for the harder, sharper iron swords and spearheads of the Assyrians. But Taharqa, one of the most powerful rulers of the 25th dynasty, fought valiantly to defend his empire. But the pressure was relentless. The Assyrians were a tide that could not be stopped, and the fate of the Nile Valley hung precariously in the balance. The final confrontation was inevitable. Wave after wave of Assyrian armies crashed against the defenses of the Nile Kingdom, In a series of bloody battles, the Assyrians, with their superior iron weaponry and sheer numbers, systematically pushed the Kushite forces south. The great cities of Lower Egypt, including Memphis, fell. Eventually, around 664 BC, the Assyrians drove the last of the Kushite pharaohs Tanya Taman out of Egypt for good. The dream of a unified Nile empire under Nubian rule was over. But this was not the end of Kush. Forced to retreat south, the Kushites established a new capital at Meru. Here, safe from northern invaders, their kingdom entered a new, vibrant phase. They learned the secret of iron from their former enemies, and Meru became a major center for iron production, its furnaces glowing day and night. For another 1,000 years, the Kingdom of Meru thrived, developing its own unique script, art, and culture, a powerful and independent African civilization. Though their reign in Egypt was brief, the Black Pharaohs left an indelible mark, a legacy of restoration, power, and a reminder that the story of ancient Egypt is incomplete without looking south to the Golden Kingdom of Kush. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey down the Nile to uncover the incredible story of the 25th dynasty. If you enjoyed this, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure into the hidden corners of history. We'll see you in the next one.